See, RSS, unfortunately, when it worked in 47 in the partition days, protecting Sikhs and Hindus against the violent marauders in the West Punjab and Sindh and here on the Bengal side, and they lost heavily in terms of their family, their business, even their lives, and they worked on field. The popularity of RSS became so big that Nehru was worried and started already, the congressman started worrying that RSS may become a competitor, though Guruji, the RSS chief at that time, clearly said that we are not interested in politics. And the Nehru himself said that we will crush RSS even before Gandhiji was murdered, assassinated. And similarly, uh, before that, Sardar Patel said, what is wrong with RSS? They are young patriotic people. So in a struggle of Congress, the effort to control RSS somehow, and then there were resolutions passed in Maharashtra, in center, asking to stop RSS. In fact, Maharashtra Congress people threatened that if the chief minister doesn't take action against RSS, they will use 1942 tactics, which by the way was a flop. I mean, 75 days and nothing happened. It simply collapsed. That is a different story. But point is, this was the kind of animosity it generated. So once the ban was, then Gandhiji's murderer used to ban RSS for 1.5 years. It struggled with Satyagraha and everything. Thousands of people suffered. Thousands of Brahmins and Swayamsevaks were killed, looted, and their houses burned in Pune and Sangli, Kolhapur area. So 84 wasn't the first time when Congress supported people use violence to settle scores. It was also done earlier in 1948. Unfortunately, at that time, Congress was powerful that the stories were totally brushed away. They were blacked out. But slowly things are coming up. And I know people who have suffered. So in this atmosphere, naturally, RSS, first of all, wanted to build itself. So it decided not to care about responding to these kind of stupid charges or countering them or countering the government. They went on building. RSS chief said that once you have done enough work, people will recognize the worth of the work. They will recognize RSS. So let us not get into countering all this. So this was used by Congress and Communist Party and all these people to smudge RSS with black tar. And by the time RSS decided to counter the propaganda and started its own media, PR work somewhere in 90s, which was nearly 70 years after the RSS was born. It started that work, and that is when slowly they started countering. But 2-3 generations had already gone who were fed with the story that RSS murdered Gandhiji, that RSS is extremist violent organization. So even the work done to support the refugee, unprotected Sikhs and Hindus when Congress was celebrating independence, fighting for ministerial berths, it was only RSS seniors, leaders who were there on the ground to protect the people. For them, there was no Independence Day. It was a dark night. For 14th August was the darkest night in the history of millions of people. Nobody bothered about it. So the work, instead of being rewarded, punishment was given because of pure political lunacy. That is part one. Part two is what RSS did. It's a long story. I have written a book on that. I cannot repeat everything. I would say Dr. Hedviar, before joining starting RSS, was part of Congress. Before that, was part of revolutionary movement. His name was in the files of CID in Calcutta. Once he reached Nagpur, he worked with Congress since from 1918. He was one of the chief organizers of RSS Congress national session in Nagpur. That is where he brought the resolution of complete freedom. It was only dominion status by Congress at that time, and asking that once we become free, we will support all the oppressed countries, fight against colonialism and defeat imperialism. That kind of world vision he had. But the resolution was dropped 1920. Then Mopla, we know what happened during rebellion, Mopla violence. We know how Khilafat Andolan, which was basically a reinstatement of caliphate, how that was used by Gandhiji to somehow make a unity with the national freedom movement, which never happened. That was the seed of Pakistan. So that is how things deteriorated. By 24. Dr. Ji realized that without starting organization independent of politics, we will not be able to resolve the problems of India, because problem of Bharat were basically problems of Hindu society. Because despite a wonderful prosperous and scientific temper of Indians with great acumen in fight also. They suffered because they were divided. So we have to rise above regionalism, casteism, parochialism to create a unified society. Only then we can have a change in governance, not just change in rulers. So from this mindset, he started RSS. Immediately in 1930, he went to jail in 1920 during non-cooperation movement. He's got 9 months imprisonment. Then again in 1930, he offered Jangal Satyagraha when salt satyagraha was happening in coastal areas. He offered Jangal Satyagraha. There was also law of not cutting wood. So it happened in Weatherbelt when hundreds of Swayamsevaks went to jail. He went to jail and he cautiously resigned from the RSS chief post, saying that we should work under Congress umbrella. So that is the vehicle for freedom struggle. He went to jail again, another 10 months. And then when he expired in 1940, Guruji was made the RSS chief. And then 42 happened. At that time, RSS was growing in a big way. But he said, okay, those who want to offer satyagraha can go again without, not as an RSS person, but as Congress. Hundreds of people went to jail. People sometimes ask me who died. Hemu Kalani Singh died. He was hanged to death because he tried to disrupt railways. 3 Swayamsevaks were shot dead in Patna, raising the flag. When 5 people died, that 6 of these 3 were RSS Swayamsevaks. In the firing in Vidarbha, where the local Patri Sarkar was made, one Swayamsevak died, one was sentenced to death, but somehow it got converted to life imprisonment. Then in Goa struggle, when Congress was not taking interest, that is another interesting aspect, that the lakhs of people were living in slavery in Goa, Pondicherry, Dadra, Nagar Haveli. So Nagar Haveli was actually liberated by RSS Swayamsevaks, led by an Indore Swayamsevak, and it was handed over to government. Then in 65, there was huge satyagraha by RSS and Jansangh. Again, RSS led the way. There another Swayamsevak died by police bullets, and many were injured. So there are so many stories which are recorded. There are many which are not recorded. But overall loss of life for RSS Swayamsevak and the disruption in their lives was huge. So this is in small what has happened. But coming to the main point, let us first of all bust the myth that that Bharat got independence, freedom on Congress struggle alone. If you look at history, as I just described, 1920 there was a mass movement, Satyagraha. Then after 10 years, 1930 there was a mass movement. Then 42 there was a mass movement. Do you think 3 non-violent movements, though they were very good, they must be appreciated for making common men take part in independence struggle? But could just 3 movements in a gap of 10 years each or 12 years would have done what was done? Could India be freed by that? No, sir. They are revolutionaries. There were cultural renaissance for years before that. Hundreds of revolutionaries died. They were hanged. They fought. There was INA when the trials happened in Redford. There was rebellion. There was naval mutiny in Mumbai. There was mutiny in Jabalpur, Kent. And this is what really scared British, realizing that we can't control this country anymore, because even the soldiers who come from World War I and II, they are no more with us. So how will we fight a rebellion? So that is when they decided to hand over the country back to Indians. So to say that Congress non-violence was alone responsible for independence is one of the biggest myths that have been created. There are, as I said, so many elements to it, and RSS just happens to be one of those elements. It doesn't take credit, but I am saying to give credit for 3 small movements. See, 1920 was withdrawn, 1930 just tamely ended, 42 ended in 75 days with most of the leaders in jail, underground movement petering off. Again, that underground movement, all the underground leaders were supported by Congress. They were protected in their homes. Their cases were fought by RSS advocates. It is written by congressmen in a statement which I quote in my book. So this is the kind of myth that has been created, and slowly people will realize. Just as people realize RSS has no hand in Gandhiji's assassination, they will realize this also. And by the way, at that time when communists are shouting today, at that time communists in 1942 actually betrayed Congress. They were offering British to get the Congress people arrested. There are letters by Danke and others, so let us serve you, sir. That is the story. Then 46, they said India is not one nationality. Please break it into 17 nations. It is Adhikari doctrine, as is well known. And resolution was given to Cabinet Mission 1946. After independence, they said this is not true independence. So they created a rebellion in Andhra Pradesh, which was alive till 1951 till it was crushed.
Yes.
So to claim that they were part of independence struggle is the most foolish thing to say and biggest lie. And then to blame that RSS did nothing, again, a young organization with limited people, with limited areas where it did some work, to claim that it did nothing was, I mean, it is just another myth. Okay, fine.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.